Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. I am Nurulita Febrianti and I would like to tell you about language development in infancy and early childhood in psycholinguistics. So the first one is about the prenatal learning. Many research found that rather than being blank states, young infants have an innate appreciation of important aspects of the world. When babies are born, they do not possess knowledge of a specific language, but they do have innate learning mechanisms that allow the child to figure out how the adult language works. So learning can start before the birth where the fetus auditory system is capable of perceiving environmental input in the third trimester of pregnancy or the last 90 days or so, any born infants are able to tell the difference between recording of the language, maybe the parents say it or the other people say it in many languages. And then infant perception and categorization of forms. Infants learn about their first language by listening to people talk. They have to figure out which speech sound or phonemes, how does phonemes go together to make words, the relationship between words and meaning, how words go together to make sentence without any direct instruction. So they have any clue to know the word that the other people speak to them. Phonemes constitute the building blocks of words in the baby new language. So they have to figure out how the inventory of speech sound is organized, which differences between different sound matter, and which can be safely ignored. This task is more complicated than it might seem at the first. And then solving the segmental problem. Babies rarely hear a single word spoken in isolation, but according to the research, infants appear to learn some words that they have never heard spoken in isolation. And some studies suggest that embedding a word in a fluent string of connected speech can actually help infants to learn that words rather than hinder them because infants learn some words that they heard only as part of longer utterance. Either they have an innate ability to identify individual words heard amongst other words in fluent speech, or they must develop this ability via experience. And then learning words meanings. Children are able to deduce new words meanings simply by hearing the words used a couple of times, so they can understand a word if they heard that word many times in when they are speaking with other, or maybe they just hearing other people say the word. To accomplish this amazing feats of deduction, infant must overcome a set of serious challenges such as poverty of the stimulus. This is the environment does not provide the information that the child needs to identify one and only one possible meaning for a word. For example, when someone say that what is that? And she's saying another word in their language that have the different meaning about what this children has expect before. So between the environment and the children is not having the same way of thinking. So maybe because of that, between the environment and the children have the misunderstanding when they are communicate. So to get over it, children will playing a language game called like when we are pointing to something, they have to figure it out what word that can, yeah, they can picturing that things. But this kind of method is not effective for blind child, as we know, because we are pointing at then the children have to see it because it is not very effective to children that cannot see very well. But we can also apply it, or yeah, we can use another others alternative. For the example is in the screen. The first one is about solve the poverty of the stimulus problem, which is proposed that children have innate categories such as noun and verb, which they seek to populate with specific words from their native language. And then is genetically graded learning hypothesis. It is general purpose learning and memory skills. And then is acquisition of morphological and synthetic knowledge. Morphological knowledge can be acquired as a byproduct of unsuperficial learning process. Children can learn a word by hearing the form of the words before they can use it. Then they should have trouble coming up with related words to other situations. So as we know in English, when we are having a word as we can take an example is from the time of the way we speaking. There in English it is divided into many parts as present tense, past tense, and future tense. And the way we are using the words in different time is a different word for different time. Okay, that's why it is very complicated for for the children. So the children learning words from that complicated things are not just memorizing and repeating things that they heard, but they have their own mechanism in their brain. I think that's all from me. I hope you can get all of the good things. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.